Have you ever had a friend turn on you? Not a stranger, not a competitor, a friend. Someone you shared meals with, someone you trusted completely. And then one day, you discover they've been plotting to destroy you. Literally. Today's story comes from India. It's about a monkey, a crocodile, and a betrayal so shocking that when I first heard it, I gasped out loud. But here's the twist: the monkey doesn't just survive, he outsmarts everyone. This is Maxima's Tales. I'm Maxima, and this story might save your business, your partnership, or your peace of mind. Let's dive in. Long ago, on the banks of a great river in India, there stood a magnificent Jamun tree. Now, if you've never tasted Jamun fruit, oh, you're missing something special. They're small, purple, almost black, sweet with just a little tartness that makes your mouth water. In Uganda, we'd call them nature's candy. And in this tree lived a monkey. Not just any monkey. This monkey was generous, happy, the kind of soul who wakes up grateful just to see the sun rise over the water. Every morning, the monkey would climb on the highest branches, pick the ripest jamun fruits, and feast. Life was good, simple, peaceful. One day, a crocodile swam up to the riverbank. He was far from home, tired, hungry. His long journey had left him weak, and he rested in the shallow water, watching the monkey eat. The monkey noticed him. Now, here's where most of us would be careful. A crocodile? Those teeth? That tail? Most monkeys would disappear into the treetops and never look back. But this monkey, he called down. "Hello, friend. You look hungry. Would you like some fruit?" The crocodile looked up, surprised. "You would share your food with me?" "Of course. I have more than I can eat. Plenty to share." The monkey threw down the juiciest jamun fruits, purple treasures splashing into the water. The crocodile ate and ate and ate some more. "These are delicious," he said, his mouth full. "I've never tasted anything so sweet." "Come back tomorrow," the monkey said. "I'll have more for you." And so began a friendship. Every day, the crocodile would swim to the jamun tree. Every day, the monkey would share his fruit. They would talk for hours about the river, about the forest, about life. The crocodile told stories about the deep waters where he lived. The monkey told stories about the treetops where he played. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. They became best friends. One evening, the crocodile said, "My friend, I must tell you something. I have a wife. She lives on an island in the middle of the river. I've been bringing her your wonderful jamun fruits, and she loves them." "That's wonderful," the monkey said. "I'm happy to share." "But," the crocodile hesitated, "she wants to meet you. She says anyone who grows such sweet fruit must have the sweetest heart. She wants you to come to our home for dinner." The monkey's face lit up. "Dinner? With your family? I would love that." "But how will you get there?" the crocodile asked. "You can't swim." The monkey scratched his head. "I know," the crocodile said. "Climb on my back. I'll carry you across." The monkey clapped his hands. "What a good friend you are." He jumped down from the tree, landed on the crocodile's broad, scaly back, and off they went. The river was wide, wider than the monkey had ever imagined. At first, it was thrilling. The cool spray on his fur, the gentle rocking as the crocodile swam. The monkey had never been on an adventure like this. But then, halfway across, right in the deepest part of the river, the crocodile began to sink. Just a little at first. The water crept up to the monkey's ankles, then his knees. "Friend," the monkey shouted, "what's happening? Why are you sinking?" The crocodile stopped swimming. And when he spoke, his voice had changed, colder and harder. I have a confession to make. The monkey's heart began to pound. What confession? My wife doesn't just want to meet you. She wants to eat you. What? She said that anyone who eats such sweet fruit must have the sweetest heart. She wants to eat your heart. And I promised I would bring it to her. The monkey couldn't believe what he was hearing. This was his friend, his best friend, the one he'd fed for months, the one he'd trusted completely. And now, in the middle of a river he couldn't swim across, he was about to be killed. But here's what I love about this monkey. He didn't panic, he didn't beg, he didn't cry. He thought. In that moment, heart racing, water rising, he thought faster than he'd ever thought in his life. And then he laughed. Yes, laughed. Oh, dear friend, the monkey said, slapping his forehead. Oh, no, 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 no. Why didn't you tell me before we left? The crocodile was confused. What do you mean? My heart, I don't carry it with me. It's too precious. I leave it in the Jamun tree for safekeeping. The crocodile's eyes went wide. You leave your heart in the tree? Of course. All monkeys do. If I had known your wife wanted my heart, I would have brought it. But it's back there, hanging on the highest branch. Now the crocodile had a problem. He couldn't give his wife a monkey with no heart. She wanted the heart specifically. That was the whole point. We have to go back, the crocodile said. Yes, yes. Take me back quickly, and I'll get it for you. The crocodile turned around and swam as fast as he could toward the Jamun tree. The moment they reached the riverbank, the monkey leaped. One jump to the lowest branch, another to the middle, another to the very top. He climbed higher than he'd ever climbed before until he was safe in the highest branches, looking down at the crocodile below. Friend, the crocodile called up, bring down your heart. My wife is waiting. The monkey laughed, but this time it wasn't a nervous laugh. You foolish crocodile. Do you think I keep my heart in a tree? My heart is right here, inside my chest, where it has always been, and it will never belong to you or your greedy wife. The crocodile's face fell. He realized he'd been tricked. But we were friends. Were friends, the monkey said. You were my closest friend. I shared my food with you. I trusted you with my life. And you tried to kill me. For what? To please someone who will never be satisfied. Please, the crocodile begged. Calm down. I'm sorry. We can forget this ever happened. Tell her the monkey was smarter than both of you. The crocodile swam away slowly, his head hanging low. He had lost the sweetest friendship he'd ever known. And for what? A demand he should never have agreed to. The monkey stayed in his jamun tree. He still had his fruit, he still had his life, he still had his heart inside his chest, where it belonged. But he was wiser now. He learned that not everyone who eats at your table is your friend. He learned that some people will betray you to please others. And he learned that in the moment when everything seems lost, a calm mind is worth more than panic. The monkey lived a long, happy life in that tree, and he never, ever rode on a crocodile's back again. Now, let me be honest with you. When I first heard this story, I thought it was about the monkey's cleverness. And yes, that quick thinking saved his life. But the older I get, the more I run my business, the more partnerships I navigate, I realize that this story is about something deeper. It's about what happens when someone you trust chooses someone else over you. It's about recognizing danger before you're in the middle of the river. And it's about knowing that your heart, your values, your vision, your purpose is not something that you should ever hand over to someone, to anyone. Let me share 3 business lessons from this ancient tale. Lesson 1. Generosity creates relationships. Boundaries protect them. The monkey was generous, beautifully generous. He shared his fruit freely, and that generosity created a real friendship. But here's what the monkey missed. He never set boundaries. He gave and gave and gave, but he never asked, what is the relationship really based on? What happens if the crocodile circumstances change? In business, I've learned this the hard way. When I started Livara, I was so eager to build relationships that I said yes to almost everything. Yes to partnerships that drained me. Yes to deals that didn't even serve my company. And yes to people who took more than they gave. Generosity opened doors, but the lack of boundaries almost destroyed me. Now I ask, is this relationship mutual? Does this person want me to succeed or just want what I have? Give freely, but protect wisely. Lesson 2. When you're in deep water, don't panic. Think. The monkey was halfway across the river. No way forward, no way back. A crocodile beneath him ready to strike. Most of us would panic, scream, even freeze. But the monkey stayed calm, and in that calmness, he found a solution. This is the entrepreneurial superpower nobody talks about. I remember a moment 2 years ago, Livara had a shipment that was delayed. Our biggest retail partner was threatening to cancel our contract. Staff worried. Everything felt like it was sinking. In that moment, I wanted to react, to fire off angry emails, to blame everyone around me. Instead, I took a breath. I thought. And I found a creative solution. A temporary partnership that saved the contract and actually opened new doors. When you're in crisis, your brain wants to panic, but panic is expensive. One wrong move, one emotional reaction, and you make a bad situation permanent. The monkey's calm saved his life. Your calm will save your business. Lesson 3. Some relationships must end completely. This is the hardest lesson. When the monkey got back to the tree, the crocodile begged, "Calm down, I'm sorry, we can forget this happened." The monkey said no. Not because he was bitter, not because he wanted revenge, but because he understood something profound. Some betrayals cannot be repaired. The crocodile had shown who he was. He was someone who would sacrifice a friendship to please someone else. Someone who would agree to murder because his wife asked. Even if the monkey forgave him, could he ever really trust him again? In business, I've had partnerships that turned toxic. Former co-founders who chose short-term gains over long-term loyalty. Team members who leaked confidential information. But every time they apologized. Every time they had explanations. But I've learned, when someone shows you who they are in a crisis, believe them. You can forgive them. That's for your own peace. But you don't have to give them another ride on your back. Some bridges need to burn so you can build better ones. Let me give you 3 scenarios where the monkey's wisdom applies today. Scenario 1. The investor who wants your heart. You're raising money. An investor comes in with a great offer, but there's a catch. They want control, board seats, decision-making power. They want your heart. Ask yourself, if I get on their back and we reach the middle of the river, can they sink me? Are they investing in me or trying to own me? Not every offer is an opportunity. Some are traps with nice wrapping. Scenario 2. The partner pressured by others. You have a business partner. You trust them. But their spouse, their family, their friends keep pushing them to take more and do less and undermine your position. Sound familiar? The crocodile wasn't evil, he was weak. He couldn't stand up to his wife. Now, if your partner can't protect your partnership from outside pressure, they're not really your partner. They are a liability with a friendly face. Scenario 3. The quick thinking that saves everything. You're in a meeting. A client drops a bombshell. A competitor makes a move you didn't expect. Your funding falls through. In that moment, you have two choices: react or respond. Reacting is emotional. Responding is strategic. The monkey responded. He bought himself time. He redirected the crocodile. He used his enemy's desires against them. When crisis hits, buy time. Ask questions. Make the other party reveal more while you gather your thoughts. The river looked impossible, but the monkey found a way home. Moreover, on the crocodile's back. Here's your action step for this week. Think about your closest business relationship: partner, investor, co-founder, key employee. Now ask yourself, if circumstances changed, would they protect me or would they sink me? This isn't about paranoia. It's about awareness. The monkey trusted the crocodile for months, and he only discovered the truth when he was already deep in the water. Don't wait until you're in the middle of the river to know who you're riding with. Thank you for joining me on Maxima's Tales. Next week, we're traveling to the Iroquois nation of North America for a story that has shaped my entire approach to creation: The Woman Who Fell from the Sky. It's about what happens when you fall and there's nothing beneath you. Spoiler, it's not about the fall, it's about what you build on the way down. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss it. If this story made you think, really think about a relationship in your life, share it. Send it to that one person who needs to hear it. Until next time, protect your heart. Keep it exactly where it belongs. I'm Maxima, and this has been Maxima's Tales.